These 3 myths about golf strategy and course management keep you from becoming a better golfer, and in this video I show you why. Hi guys, my name is Kevin. I'm normally working in Formula 1 as a data and strategy expert, but probably like you, I'm a very passionate amateur golfer, and I was always obsessed with the question, what really does make a good score in golf? And even though I've always been a big stats guy, after I've read tons of books, articles, watched videos and did my own research about golf strategy and course management, I realized I was playing golf all wrong, and you're probably too. So let's start with myth number 1. Course management means playing conservatively, which is super boring. I get it, not everyone is a big stats and data guy like me, but this myth is just a silly excuse for not having to deal with the topic, let's be honest. If you want to get better at golf and want to maximize your full scoring potential, you have to get good at course management, as it is pretty easy to gain a lot of strokes in a very short time. You might be saying something like, I don't play for stats, I play for fun. But if you master the art of playing strategically around the golf course, you will definitely lower your scores and set new personal records, whatever they might be for you. And be honest, were you ever bored in the past by breaking your own personal record? I guess not. I remember the first time when I played an under par round. It was actually 4 years ago in a golf tournament. I played a 69 on a par 70 course. And when I look back on that round, actually it was the most boring round that you could imagine. I was just hitting greens, basically parring the course to death, only make some birdies, but it still was enough to play 1 under par. But I can definitely tell you, in that moment I felt differently. It was actually the most thrilling and nerve-wracking round of my life to that date, because I wanted to break par so badly because I've never done it before. My adrenaline was high, my hands were shaking for the last 3 holes, but I managed to get it together. And yes, from the outside it may have been a pretty boring round, but if you experience it in the moment, it's definitely not. But actually there's something more wrong about this myth, which means course management means playing conservative. Because proper golf strategy that actually lowers your average score means playing more aggressive than you might think. Science is pretty clear about that. If you scan through all the data that is out there, actually attacking with your second shot on a par 5 or trying to drive a drivable par 4 means on average lower scores, not only for pros but also for amateurs. Of course, I don't know how long you hit the ball, because you might be saying, I don't even have the distance to be able to hit my second shot on the green on a par 5 or drive a drivable par 4. But then for you it might be your third shot on a par 5 or your second shot on a long par 4 where you normally play the layup. But as I said, data is pretty clear about this. As long as the green is not an island green or it's covered by all sorts of trouble on every side, actually laying up is often the wrong strategy both for pros and amateur golfers. So right now, if you're trying to avoid every hazard that is out there on the golf course, you're probably playing too conservatively, as this is simply just not possible. Playing scared does not work to lower your scores. So with great course management, we don't want to play scared, but we also don't want to play stupid and aggressive golf. It's a mix in between. So you might be saying something like, well, then I just go for the middle of the green every time. But actually, if you go through the data, middle of the green is often also a pretty bad target. So the middle of the green can in some cases be a too conservative target, especially true for big greens, as it would give away all your birdie chances. But for other cases, it can also be a way too aggressive target, especially true with small greens and trouble on one side of the green. So we make our decision based on the underlying situation. So to bust that myth, golf strategy is neither boring, as you will probably be very happy to lower your scoring average, and neither does it mean you have to play conservatively. It is actually more aggressive than you think. Myth number 2, course management only works for pros because amateurs are way too inconsistent. So I've heard a lot of golfers in my life say, well, no strategy can help me if I chunk or top the ball. So do amateurs simply have a way too inconsistent ball contact, so they can't really plan their shots? Well, I think we have to set realistic expectations. Course management is about maximizing your own potential. It's not about you learn course management and then you'll be the next Scotty Scheffler. It's not working like that. But it helps you to get the best out of what you have today, which means actually a lot of strokes for amateurs. Data is pretty clear about this. Course management actually works better for amateurs compared to pros, not despite but because of their inconsistency. Actually, the more inconsistent you are with your ball contact, the more you can gain through a good strategy, as you're right now very likely to pick the wrong club very often. I see it all the time, and personally, I still do this mistake myself. We all play for the best shot and not for our average shot, and I guess it's the same for you. And we're actually not talking only about the ball contact here, because you also might be saying something like, well, if it was all about aiming correctly, I would be on tour as well. Amateurs just have way too much of a dispersion to pick an ideal target. Well, as already said, experts pretty much agree that it actually works better for amateurs, not despite, but because of their inconsistency. And the same accounts for aiming. So the bigger dispersion you have, actually the more likely you are to lose a lot of strokes due to shots into hazards, which were mainly caused by poor aiming. But yes, I get it. Proper aiming won't save all your problems. Just aiming like a pro won't make you a pro. You will not win the Masters just with proper aiming. You need more than that. With proper aiming, you will still hit shots out of bounds and slice your driver into the water, but definitely less than before. Maybe it's a bit like dating. If you improve your flirt skills and maybe style more attractive, you increase your chances of success, which doesn't mean you're going to get every girl that you like. So course management isn't claiming to fix your golf game once and for all, it is just a way to improve your chance of success. So one last myth about course management, a myth that I actually believed myself until I got deep into the topic. I'm an instinctive player and golf is more about intuition. So let's talk about Phil Mickelson for a short while. He is regarded as one of the most instinctive players of all time with an incredible touch for the golf ball, especially at the short game, you have probably seen it. But actually, Phil is one of the most analytical golfers on tour. I don't know if you have watched his video Inside the Mind of Phil Mickelson for 9 holes on his YouTube channel. I watched it, but I got a headache after 5 minutes and I couldn't watch it anymore. And that's me, a big data and stats guy who normally loves these things. I personally also have a pretty good touch with my short game. Of course, it's nowhere near the level of Phil Mickelson, but I would regard it as one of my strengths in golf. On the other side, my main weakness is my big dispersion with my long clubs. So that's why I always kind of thought of myself as an instinctive player who has to feel the shot, but actually these feelings are only systems based on past experiences. And it can be the same with course management. If you truly and deeply understand it, and most amateur golfers don't, and apply it regularly, then you can get so good at correct aiming that you will call it an instinct at some point. And by the way, what has your touch to do with correct aiming and course management? One does not exclude the other, just do both, like Phil Mickelson. He's analytical in the first place and then let his touch do the rest. So if you get regularly beaten by friends or other golfers who don't hit the ball much better than you and also not much longer, and they're actually also not that much better in the short game, then chances are pretty high that you're bad at executing your golf game on the course. So knowing how to score on the course is a separate skill like driving or putting, and you better own that skill so you improve your chances of success. I've personally seen all sorts of golf players in my life so far, during junior tournaments or now in the German Golf League. I have seen 15 handicap players with a great swing and consistent ball striking, but on the other side I've also seen 0 handicap players who barely hit the ball in the middle of the face and also have a pretty bad swing. The only difference is one of them has a clue how to navigate the golf game around the course, while the other one has no clue at all. Improving your golf strategy and course management could actually be the easiest and fastest way for you to lower your scores. So make sure to like the video if it helped you, and when you now have realized, well, I'm probably not making the most out of my golf game, then make sure to subscribe to the channel to don't miss out on future tips about course management and golf strategy. See you then.